All right, gang, time for project number 1, which is building some stairs leading up to this porch so that I don't have to jump on it anymore. I've never made conventional stairs before. They're typically very unconventional, but it should be fun, right? Typically the stairs I build are on pieces of construction that are, I guess, not normal. Whether it's a survivor structure or a platform or even a treehouse, I usually make structures that are pretty cattywampus anyways, and so it's not important that I get these things level. But on this case, it's probably important that I really look into detail. So what I've got to do here, as you can see, is I am making the ground as level as possible, which means shoveling the side that's high and putting it into the side that's low. So that's... Hey y'all, Future Hunter here. So what I'm doing right here is actually pointless. Later I'm going to use a different process to level off the ground, and so this whole thing was a waste of time. But again, it's a learning process. We're figuring out how to do this, and that's just the reality of it. Again, I am not a stair expert, and this is for your entertainment purposes only. Please don't use me as a sword. If you are building stairs that have to be to some code or anything like that. What am I even doing right here? Okay, so I brought Bill inside to do some math to figure out how the actual angles and everything on the stairs would work. There are probably calculators online that can do this, but what's the fun in that? We love a good math equation, so we'll hope that we did it right. Don't look too close at it though. Okay, so now that I've done the math, what I need to do is cut out the sections on these boards, which is what's actually gonna hold the stairs. Now these boards are called stringers, and what you do is you cut out triangular sections that the boards will sit down into. Actually, at least I'm pretty sure they're called stringers, I don't really know. The best way to keep it, uniform and everything the same is to use something called a framing square, which I don't have right now. And so I'm gonna make something instead that is almost like a pattern that I'll cut out. Because this is a square angle that I've checked with my quick square, which in a lot of instances is better than a framing square, but in this instance, I need a framing square, but I don't have one, but that's okay. I checked to make sure the corner here was square. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure out 11 inches one-sided on the one side, right there. And then I'm gonna measure down 7 inches. And so what that does is that's going to set our standard for the rise, which is 7 inches, and 11 inches, which will be how wide the step itself is. Cut this out, make it square, and I'll show you how I use it as a pattern. Okay, so here is our pattern. You're like, that doesn't look like a triangle. Well, I'll show you how I use it. Now to figure out the first one, I had to do a little bit of math, which is what we were doing inside on the paper. But what I figured, and we're hoping it's right, is to get the first angle, where the first step needs to be cut out, it's gonna be different than what the pattern is. And so to figure that out, I had to do a little bit of trigonometry and things like that, but we'll save that for a different video. That's a little bit, it's a little bit boring for a lot of people. But I know that I have to go 5.91, so we're going to say right around here, inches from here. And then we're going to go 9.28, so basically 9.25 inches down. A little bit, tiny bit more than quarter. And we'll come along here. The straight edge, I like to use whatever I can get my hands on. But today I've got a level, which hopefully should be pretty straight. Now, if I've done my math right, this should be exactly 11 inches because this will be our first step. Ooh, look at that, right at 11 inches. That's what we're looking for. Okay, now, to use a pattern, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the points in line with the edge of the board. And so because this side is 7 and this side is 11, I wanna make sure that the step part is the 11 inch side, and the up and down part is the rise, or the 7 inch part. So I'm gonna put this point right here on that one, and then put this point right here on the edge as well. Got it there, got it here. And we're just gonna mark the inside of this. And so what we'll do is we will cut this triangle out of the steps. And so we'll move down again. But as you can see, the pattern continues here. We go have a step down, step down, step down, step down. That's what we're looking for. So now we just get to repeat this process again for the 3 other boards that will be part of the stringers that hold the stairs up. All right, all the stringers have been marked. And so now I get to come back with a skill saw and then a jigsaw and cut out the actual sections. As you can see on here, the lines are already marked. And so I just come back and I saw them out. And what we use when we do this is first we use a skill saw, and then we'll come back with a jigsaw to get the corners out really well. And as you can see, I've got a new partner with me. Say hey, Miles. Hey. What do you think? Anyways, let's do it. As always, safety first. So I gotta give the baby the safety glasses. Miles' mom came and got him, so I lost my partner. Oh well. Now I guess I don't have to worry about cutting his fingers off. Okay, so now that the stringers are cut, we are going to mark where each of them will go. Okay, now that I've got the lines drawn on the actual wall of the porch, I can check to see where the stringers, which are, again, these are the stringers that are gonna hold the steps, would line up to the ground. But you'll notice this gap right here indicates that I'm not able to make that low enough. Now, some people may just run screws in there and pull it tight as they can. But the thing is, if that isn't flush against it, because of the math we did and the angles and the way we cut it, if that is not flat against it, that means all these steps are gonna be slightly up. You see how they're kind of pointed up, which is this tripping hazard and it's not great, it hold water. And so we're gonna make sure we dig down there a little bit deeper and so that this will sit flat. And we'll have to do that for each of them to make sure all the steps are level and in the place they need to be. Thankfully now things will speed up because I just have to cut these boards in half basically and put them on and it's done. I had originally decided that I was going to make it a 4-foot wide span, but I think now I'm going to go with about a 5-foot wide span because these boards are 10 feet. And so I'm already cutting them in half. And so why not get the full length out of them? And so we're going to make it a 5-foot wide staircase as opposed to a 4-foot wide. It'll have plenty of strength because it's only going to hang over about 6 inches on either side. And so the strength shouldn't be an issue at all. And so we'll just get more out of the wood and not waste. And now all that is left is screwing it in. And there we go. It's all done.